Hello, sports fans. My name is Aaron.
I'm Seth.
And I'm Alexa. And this is Sports Talk Radio with the Brat Pak on KOS 630 p.m. Las Vegas.
We've got sports, coffee, and the occasional crack of some dumbass who said something really stupid.
We hand out the Richard Award to the biggest jag-off of the day.
So stick around after a word from our sponsors because you're not going to want to miss it.
KOS Sports Talk Radio with the Brat Pak is brought to you by Las Vegas alternative rock group Mead Avenue.
Look into your eyes, the universe is magnified. And even as the rust subsides, the fire burns deep down inside.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to KOS Sports Talk with the Brat Pak. I am here always with...
Matt,
I want to do this every
single time.
That's because I want to lead with
Maybe we should...
midget. You probably next time switch sides.
No,
Alexa,
you know what? Get your
Seth.
shit right. Get your shit right.
Leading off this
I'm
whole-
Alexa. This is Aaron, and this is
You know what?
Seth.
From now on,
Hi.
you guys can just introduce yourselves.
And welcome
Okay.
to
Fuck it.
Chaos.
I'm done
And
doing
it's already chaos.
Welcome
Yes,
to
it
We're
Chaos.
living
is.
up to our name less than a minute into the show.
it. Actually, speaking of
less
chaos.
than a minute.
No, speaking of chaos, we'll get into that one. Matthew was pitching a fit yesterday because we didn't give him recognition. Our
yes,
theme
yes.
song was created by our brother, Matthew. So, Matthew, thank you. But speaking of a very short time frame, leading it off, we actually have a great show for you, so make sure you stick around to the end when we give away our awards because we've got some pretty good ones coming up there, as well as Richard gets to come out. But leading it off, soccer. Who's got it?
In soccer, the new record for the fastest goal scored has been set by Tim Cahill, who's an American. He scored a goal in less than 7 seconds.
That's a triumph right there.
It is. 7
American
seconds
soccer.
into the game. It's,
The previous record was 10 seconds. And I mean, scoring a goal in soccer is difficult enough as it is, and then to just get one in 7 seconds, like, who wasn't paying attention?
yeah.
I mean, literally,
Who was
not paying attention?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't really watch soccer too often, but I will say you need some high endurance to play that sport.
Yes.
Oh,
You need
yeah,
skill,
absolutely.
you need technique, and to score in 7 seconds is unreal.
You also need to know how to fake injuries.
Well, the men do that pretty well.
Yes, they do.
The women, not
the
so
women
much.
are okay at it too,
Oh,
but
especially Brazil.
yes.
You saying that Brazilian women can fake injuries?
Well, I mean, if we
Easier.
want to go on that topic, we'll take that back to the
Yeah, we
Women's
could go
World
for
Cup.
a long time about that.
Yeah. I never.
No.
We're not gonna.
Yeah, we're not going there
Yeah, because
today.
that'll be a long discussion.
So I guess we're going to Texans.
Yes. You know, when you get in the NFL, it doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want because you still have to abide by rules set forth by the organization. The Texans cut 3 rookies on Monday for smoking pot. Sam Montgomery, Sierra Wood, and Willie Jefferson supposedly were smoking a cigar in the room is what one of their agents said, and they are debating whether to file a grievance or not. But if you were legitimately smoking a cigar, the organization would not have cut you. Own up to it, whatever.
Yeah.
But Montgomery hasn't even fully been committed to playing football. Went to minicamp, out of shape, got hurt, came back for training camp, still out of shape. And none of them have played significant time so far this season, but you blew your shot at playing in the NFL because now people are going to know.
Yeah.
You know when you go into these sports that you can't do that shit anymore. It's adolescent. It's childish.
It's not college anymore.
Yeah.
You can't get away.
Even then, you shouldn't be doing
Well,
it.
obviously.
True.
But like I said, you can't just go in there thinking you can do whatever you want, that you're not going to get caught or.
Yeah.
I will-
punished.
There's not going to be any penalty
Yeah.
because
I
I
will-
guess what they did is they see a lot of these superstar players who get caught doing stuff, and they
It's
just get a
okay.
slap on the wrist. And so they just thought, oh, we're in the NFL. It doesn't matter.
Big difference.
That
Those
is
superstars
always-
have a lot of money for
Exactly.
payoff.
But that has always been my problem with punishments by the NFL and with any professional sports league is that they're not severe enough. This is exactly why young guys and whoever else think they can do whatever else. Think they're invincible because nothing has paved the way for proper punishment in professional sports.
Yeah.
You're just stupid.
I hate when if you get caught. Okay, you did it, and I'll first say this: I smoke cigars. I love cigars. You smoke cigars and love cigars. Matthew smokes cigars and loves cigars. Trust me, if somebody handed me a blunt, I would know the difference.
I'm pretty sure everybody, even if you don't smoke, knows the difference.
I'm pretty sure everyone, even if you don't smoke, can tell the difference between the smell of tobacco and the smell of marijuana.
Yeah.
It's just it's upsetting when people think that they can get out of things like that just because they're in a particular organization.
So now they're all out of work. And you know what?
Well, it serves them right.
Yeah, it's
good luck finding another job.
Well, you're not going to find one like that.
No.
Yeah, you're not going to find one anywhere.
Playing sports is a privilege.
Yeah,
and you done messed up pretty good.
Well, speaking of upsetting Denver and the Colts, when we brush on this one real quick, I will say this first. I did get to catch the opening. That was right after we played Madden.
Yeah.
And what a homecoming for Manning.
I heard. Unfortunately, I missed it. And I heard.
Everybody that we saw in the stands, where the cameras were panning to, all the Colts fans had, welcome to the house that Peyton built. Welcome home, Peyton.
Yeah.
Yep.
There were more Peyton fans than there were Colts fans.
Well, like I said, I've never been a big Manning fan of any of them, but he did a lot of good for that organization, and he was the face of it for a long time. So I'm really happy that the fans still remember that.
He did. And going into the upset, part of the issue that has been exposed of Denver is their somewhat lack of a defense. I mean, they're pretty much playing the game the Pats used to play, was if we can score enough points, it doesn't matter how many you score. And right now, they're sitting on a mediocre defense, and unfortunately, I like to say, offense will win you fans, but defense is going to win you championships.
And that's always been the case.
And so Kansas State, Kansas State.
Good job.
Kansas City, who's known for their defense, is still undefeated.
And looks like a championship team.
Exactly. And, you can win more games with a great defense and an average offense than you can with a great offense and an average defense. So you end up having two teams, which are both considered currently the best two teams. One now has a loss because they couldn't stop the other team.
Well, I thought for sure that Denver's first loss was going to be against Kansas City. I wouldn't have put my money on it being Indianapolis.
No, I wouldn't
Not
have.
by any means.
And Andrew Luck looked really good.
And good for him.
Yeah.
From what I saw, I think that Manning had quite a battle on his hand. I think because he had to change his entire game of play. All those codes that he yells out, before the snap of every ball, they know him. Yeah. So now he had to completely reroute what he was saying.
Well, you know what? And it's good for Denver too. It's good for Manning. It's like you had your first real test, because we're not going to count Dallas, but you had your first real test of the season. And it's like, okay, what do you need to tweak to get back to?
Well, to be fair, they had pretty much the same problem in Dallas, was lack of defense. The only reason they won that game is because Tony Romo choked, which you can pretty much bank on it happening every time.
Yeah. Well, I read an interesting article about Manning. It was called the Peyton Paradox, and it was showing how well he does in the regular season compared to how he does in the postseason. He declines in the postseason. He's one of those quarterbacks that you do really well, and then come big game situations, when the pressure's on, you don't do so well. Yeah, and it also noted that in cold weather, he's even worse. He grew up.
That's strange for somebody.
He grew up in the South.
He's
played in warm weather, played in the Dome most of his career. You get to cold weather, and he's not accustomed to it. And I read that the Colts had actually opened up the roof.
Yes, they had.
Which is kind of unusual for Indianapolis, and it was 52 degrees. It is a little chilly. So
sounded smart to me.
Yeah,
of course.
Sounds like a good tactic.
Right? It's a great tactic. So was an interesting note.
All in all, I will say that I think it was actually a really good game. I think regardless of the loss, Peyton was happy to be home. You can't be a face of that organization for 12 years and not expect, a few tears. I mean, it was actually pretty touching when he was there. Everybody was cheering for him when he was warming up. He was thanking everybody.
I love those sports moments.
Yeah.
Those are the good fans. I like fans
exactly.
like that.
Well, I mean, that's why we watch. That's why we watch sports.
Yeah.
For those moments.
Exactly. You watch them for the big homecomings, the we love this player, we love this team, et cetera, not the fans snatching balls from the other team and throwing them back on the field. And,
Right.
well, we'll talk about the number one fan net later on.
Right. We're gonna stop real quick. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, Pats and the Jets. That's gonna be a good one. The new Megatron and the Giants and Vikings. We'll be right back.
KOS Sports Talk Radio with the Brat Pack is brought to you by Las Vegas alternative rock group Mead Avenue.
When I look into your eyes, the universe is magnified. And even as the rust subsides, the fire burns deep down inside. And I feel alive.
Hey guys, welcome back. This segment, this one's gonna get a little feisty on just because of a new rule that we found out was in. But let's lead it off with the Jets and Pats. So go ahead.
Well, the Jets beat the Pats, which
Is ironic.
Yeah, which
Well, I mean, it's
happened?
really good for them. That's all like a lot of people were talking about. But the way that they won, I think, is very questionable. But apparently, it's a legitimate rule. And in case you missed a game,
It's legitimate now.
it is well. And in case you missed a game, the Jets beat the Pats on a late field goal.
Overtime field goal.
Overtime field goal. And what had happened was they went to kick the first one. He missed it, but a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty was called on New England, which gave New York a second chance at a field goal, and that one he made. So the new rule is Rule 9 in Section 1, Article 3.2.
How'd that go?
What?
And it states that defensive players cannot push teammates into the offensive formation. Because what had happened was they called the penalty because a dude came, like, here, get up there.
Yeah.
And then they called that, and and Belichick's like, what are you talking about? He was arguing and saying there was no push, this, that, and everybody's like, what just happened? We don't understand. And apparently, it's a legitimate rule. But it was the first time that it had been called. It's a new rule it implemented prior to the start of the season, and it was the first time that it was called.
Apparently, you're not allowed to push one of your own teammates through an offensive line formation. Apparently, this isn't allowed.
Well, and according to the rules committee, it was put into place because defensive teams were rushing through the gaps created by the overload. Isn't that what you're supposed
that's
to
football.
do?
I was going to say,
It's supposed to
isn't that
happen.
called a blitz?
When did they put this rule into effect?
Prior to the season.
Okay.
It is one
Did
of those,
they not notify people?
No, they did, but I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I guess if you've never seen it actually happen
Yeah,
or what they
I don't
feel
know
that it
to what
actually
extent
is, nobody would
they
know.
talked about it, but I just think it's really stupid. Like, how are you going to play football? How are you going to try to block a field goal if you're not allowed to get up in there in the space? I don't understand. And then to call it unsportsmanlike conduct, like an unsportsmanlike penalty.
Every time I hear one of these new rules that applies 90% to the defense, it seems to me like the NFL and the rules committee is trying to make the NFL more exciting by making it easier for offenses to score a bunch. And that's taking away from the spirit of the game.
Yeah. The only rule that has put into place that I really like is the fact that you're not allowed to hit helmet to helmet or anywhere above here. Like, those are good rules.
Yes, those have legitimate reasons.
Good rules. But you're going to put stuff in like this and just like you're taking away from the defense. It's like you're creating an unfair
Look,
advantage.
I could understand. All these new rules that they've come up with over time, I'm not a big fan of the majority of them. Any rule that protects players, I am totally down
absolutely.
for. Okay, but
that
something
has something
like
to do with safety.
Something like this that's just taking away from the game of football, I'm actually not happy with at all. I think it's absolutely stupid. And Rex Ryan the coward that he is to
boy.
tattletale and bring this up, fuck you. That shit annoys me. Anyway, moving on from Rex Ryan, pussbag, and getting into the new Megatron. Anybody want to take this one?
Des Bryant. While I'm all for Big 12 players because I'm a Big 12 fan, basically anybody who comes out of Big 12 I try and root for. But Des Bryant seems to think he's going to be the next Megatron.
He actually said, quote, I believe I can do whatever he can do. I think it's just a pride thing. When it comes to football, just being on the field, it's a mindset and having a mentality.
So what he's saying is his mindset is keeping him from doing what his mindset should be allowing him to do.
Which is play football.
And be a good
And just be a good player.
Be a good
Now,
receiver.
I'm not going to argue. He is a good receiver.
But he's not a great receiver.
No, he's not Megatron. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
okay.
not. He's never going to be Megatron or Jerry Rice or.
Because those guys
He might be able to be around like AJ Green's level.
And AJ Green's really good.
AJ Green's really good.
But I mean, you can't replicate what those guys
No.
did. You can come close,
Sure.
but you need to do it your own way.
Yes. Don't try and
Create
be
a name for
somebody else.
yourself. Don't.
In a radio interview on Tuesday, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones gave the nod to Johnson gave the nod to Johnson as the NFL's best receiver.
Well, I would
Okay.
say Calvin Johnson is probably very high on that list
Not the best.
currently.
Well, are we talking currently or altogether? I mean, if we're talking currently,
If
yeah.
we're talking currently, I can't really think of too many arguments against him. I mean, you could probably argue Wes Welker.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that come to mind, but it's not one stands
But I
out
think it
more
all
than
comes
other.
back to what we talked about their placement in the NFL.
Yeah.
He might be, piss poor on this team, but put him on this team and he's phenomenal.
True.
I don't believe in being the best. I think that you're great at what you do and you're great in your environment that you're in. But let me take you from that environment, put you somewhere else, and then see what happens.
That goes back to what we talked about last time with the different eras. You can't have one great of all time. It's
Yeah,
best
because
of your
it's
era.
a different game now.
Yeah,
Like
and
all the rules.
Right.
and with receivers, if you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to do anything. Like Larry Fitzgerald. Look, he's declined so much.
Yeah, because he
Arizona
doesn't
has
have
no
anybody good
quarterback.
throwing to him.
Exactly. So
Here's a scary thought for you on that inter-era thing. Can you imagine Jerry Rice with the new pass interference rules?
no.
He'd be benched indefinitely.
You couldn't play him.
He'd be benched. When we play Madden and we play that the all 25, every one of those players would be benched.
You know what?
Yeah.
And I honestly prefer old football to the new football.
So do I.
Classic football.
Exactly.
Real.
Real football.
Yeah. Where, you're not going to get
Pushing
in
and
trouble.
shoving's okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid shit, before we run out of time here, why don't we move on to our last one, Giants and Vikings.
Two very miserable teams.
Yes.
Who played a very miserable game.
The Giants weren't that bad. I mean,
They're still terrible.
I agree. But
It looked like a preseason game.
I completely agree. But at least the Giants were smart enough to go, hey, all the Vikings can do is hand the ball to Adrian Peterson.
Oh, speaking of the Vikings,
Oh boy.
Jared Allen. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
yes,
sorry,
yes,
this
yes.
is very exciting. Jared
Yes.
Allen, you have. I'm going to reenact this play, but you have to go and watch it. Look at his.
Do I get to punch somebody?
No, you're just going to sit there. He's
Well,
already.
we could actually reenact this since we're on video. I don't think you could reach far enough around, Darren, but
I'm
I
just-
could to tackle you.
That's okay. You're gonna get the gist.
Unless you want to die, don't suggest doing that.
Yeah.
Why?
But anyway, he's already a really amazing linebacker and
Yes.
has had a great career. But it's hard to, I imagine, to sack a guy. But what he did, I don't know, it must have been like
Get
2
up,
seconds.
midget.
Shut up. So this is a
Alexis
lineman.
Jared
I
Allen
am
is-
Allen. That's Manning, and this is a lineman. And he went to get Eli, so he's like this around a lineman, held on to Eli, and took him down and sacked him. Mind you, you got this like 300-pound guy in between him and Manning, and didn't let go, but just brute strength.
Pulled all of them backwards.
Pulled all of them, and then
rolled.
Eli fell down. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, Eli was
awesome.
Shock and amazement.
It was
What
awesome.
just happened?
Because you had to like watch it a couple of times, like, did he fall? Did he trip? And then you realize that this guy's hands on the back of his jersey. It was unreal. Look
As
for
a
that
former
replay.
linebacker, I do have to say Jared Allen is very likely the best linebacker playing.
He's your epitome of a linebacker.
Yes,
He's
as far as
he's
the
kind
power
of
is
guy you
concerned.
want.
Now, to be fair, you could definitely argue Polamalu. You could probably also argue Ray Lewis, but he retired, so he's not currently playing. So
Palomalu's a safety.
he is? I thought he was a linebacker.
No.
Then, so the Steelers just have a lot of free safety blitzes.
Palomalu does what Palomalu wants to do.
Palomalo.
So what you're saying is
under
Palomalu's a
positions.
safety,
Look,
but he's not actually
when they
a
get
safety.
drafted to the team, okay, underneath it has a list of the positions. Next to Palomalo's name is Palomalo. He's allowed to. He doesn't have a position. He
Okay.
can go and do whatever the hell he wants
Because
to do.
he's that good of a player.
Yeah.
He's that type of player that
They don't
Okay.
question what he
Dick
does.
LeBeau's like, blitz. Palomalu just does what he wants.
Yeah. Polamalu, okay. I thought Polamalu was a linebacker just because of how much he blitzed.
He's just a flying Hawaiian.
Well,
but anyway, go back and look for
Flying
that play.
Ending on that topic, we're going to take another short break here. When we come back to targeting rule, some more turmoil, and our injury list. We'll be right back. Hey, sports fans, I'm Aaron.
I'm Seth.
And I'm Alexa, and this is KOS Sports Talk with the Brat Pak.
Check us out Tuesdays and Friday nights at 6:30 p.m. Las Vegas.
You can also check us out on Facebook, KOS Sports Talk, and on Twitter at KOS Sports Talk. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to get into a new rule.
Yes.
A rule that, from what I was briefed on, I'm not a big fan of.
Because we love rules.
I think we're gonna have quite a bit to say. But Seth, go ahead with that rule.
Well, a couple years ago, the NCAA enforced a new targeting rule, which basically says you can't specifically target single players, even if they're superstar players. You're basically, it ends up you're not allowed to constantly target and hit the same player over and over again. It's in order to prevent some of those bounty things like the Saints were doing.
I'm a little confused. Please elaborate.
So you're telling me that if you're handed the ball 10 times in a row, I can only hit you a couple?
Well,
Because I would be targeting you?
no, what they're saying is it's mostly on the scale of if you're hitting them for no apparent reason. Obviously, if they have the ball, yeah, it's your job to hit them. But
Why would you?
if you're, say, blocking a running back and he doesn't get the ball and it's his job to, say, block for the fullback instead of, him carrying it, and you still make it a point to hit him hard because he's a superstar or because he's really good, that's when this rule takes
But
effect.
how can they determine what is targeting and what is not?
I don't
Look,
Okay,
when
well-
you come down, when you have your plays, and I wish I had a whiteboard. I wish I had a whiteboard. When your plays are designed, you're designed to cover a
Yes,
certain man.
exactly.
I can't help what my play tells me to do.
Yes.
However, I do kind of agree that if it's in that instance, say, where
Yeah.
the running back's blocking and you make a point to hit him anyway and he doesn't have a
Yeah.
ball, there's no need for
Exactly.
that.
There's a difference in stopping him and blocking,
Yeah.
and a difference in just hitting him.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so
you're more
I
talking
agree.
about excessive
Yes.
force.
Now-
I can agree with that.
Now, however, a Nebraska wide receiver, an unnamed Nebraska wide receiver, commented on this rule recently because apparently it came out in Nebraska's game on Saturday. He commented saying, direct quote, "We're all grown men, and we know what we signed up for, and I know..." I'm sorry. I read that line twice. Okay. Once more.
Maybe
Once more
stop
with
looking
feeling.
at your crotch.
Yes.
You want to bring that up to the table instead of looking down?
No, I'm good. I got it now.
Okay.
He said, "We're all grown men, and we all know that the game we signed up for has consequences." And I completely agree.
Okay.
You're playing football. We're not out here to play tag.
But the point is,
You're it.
Well, you guys
I-
play tag a little harder than most people.
understatement of the century,
Paletta.
Paletta. I get it, but I do also agree with the rule, and only in the instance that if you're hitting guys for no reason and you're intentionally hitting them hard for no reasons, I understand that.
Yes.
I mean, obviously it's a contact sport, but
Yes.
the target, I get it.
Well,
Do I agree? I don't know yet.
I
I think it just depends.
I can agree and disagree. What gives you the right to determine that I used excessive force unless it was plain and clear
yeah.
that I used excessive force?
If somebody
But if
like
I just-
Palomalu comes
yeah.
sailing up and just crushes you for no reason.
But now you have to look at the player.
Yeah.
That's how Palomalu is.
Yeah.
That's how Ray Lewis would have been.
I think it'll come down to the officiating. I
Yeah.
mean, because you can tell the difference between a hit and
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell a cheap
So
shot. when you see it.
I think it's just going to come down to everybody in charge.
Yes. But again, this is more about the opinions of the rule than it is the rule itself.
This is also the NCAA.
Yes, who,
Okay.
as we all know, is a joke. For those of you who didn't pay attention to us back in the spring, one of our awards went to the NCAA Rules Committee for fining a Stanford golfer for washing her car on campus.
Because I love the NCAA.
Moving on to some more turmoil.
Turmoil. Which one?
That was you.
Which turmoil? I forget what I referred to that as.
You told me to write down C, turmoil.
Wait, what turmoil?
Okay, how about
Injuries. Injury
we have
list.
several.
What's
it's,
the?
it's okay. It's okay.
This is that half thing.
It's okay.
Tag.
You're it. No, I'm
No,
it.
she's it. She has to tag me. You can't tag me.
But you don't want me
You
to
don't
tag
want me
you.
to be tagged.
Anyway, there have been several big injuries in the NFL. Jay Cutler is out for 4 weeks with a muscle tear in his groin. Ow. And
From gameplay or from off-field activities that
Gameplay.
Rex Ryan said you weren't allowed to do.
yes, unfortunately for Cutler,
Yeah.
no. In the game,
It's my favorite coach.
he's not having surgery. He's gonna let it go, see how it heals.
Because nobody gives him enough credit.
Oh,
You
He's
remember
given-
that picture?
He's
Yes,
giving way
yes.
too much credit. Anyway, Josh McCown is going to replace him in the time being, and McCown actually did pretty good. He went 14 for 20, 204 yards, and a touchdown. I mean,
yeah, it's not bad.
because a lot of Chicago has I think a love-hate relationship with Cutler.
Yes.
They love him when he does good, and they hate him when he does bad. So this might be a good chance for McCown to say, hey,
It's better than Texans and Matt Schaub,
it definitely
who
is.
That was
is
just messed
actually
up.
no longer involved. They've actually put him as the backup.
Wow. Wow.
Unreal.
Houston, we have problems. And then Sam Bradford is out for the season with an ACL injury.
Yes,
It's
and
really crappy for him.
yeah, and I keep seeing these articles about Sam Bradford, and they keep getting on his case when they're criticizing him like it's his fault that the Rams aren't doing any good.
But the
When I'm
Rams
sitting
have
here
been
and I
awful
go,
for
wait,
years.
they traded away their good running back. They have no offensive line.
Or receivers.
Or anyone for him to throw to.
It-
How is this his fault?
Again,
Exactly.
Product of your environment.
Exactly.
And as a quarterback, you can only do so much
Yeah.
with what you have. And we've talked about that before with other players around the
Exactly.
league. I mean, it's not fair to get on his case to say you're not pulling
Yes.
your weight when
There
you've
are-
got nothing to help.
Exactly. There are very few quarterbacks who can throw to anybody. Tom Brady.
In any situation. Let's not.
In any
Dude's a
situation.
machine.
He is. And I don't care how much you want to hate on Bill Belichick or the Patriots or whatever. Tom Brady's
Cheaters.
a machine. Tom Brady could play for any team and throw the
Cheaters.
ball to anybody.
Is what it is.
Cheaters.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Keep going on about that.
Cheaters. I don't like
wasn't
Brady,
illegal at the
but I
time.
do like Brady because he's a damn machine.
Yeah.
Even after his injury,
Yeah.
he's a machine.
I'd take Tom
Dude can
Brady
throw-
Yeah.
over anybody.
I told her a long time ago, and I told many other people, there's only one reason why I hate Brady. He's not playing for the Steelers.
Okay.
Continuing on with injuries, the Packers' Jermichael Finley suffered a bruised spinal cord in Sunday's game. He did tweet from the ICU, or he was taken out of ICU. He did tweet that I have feelings in my arms and legs, and I walked to and from the shower today, which is a good thing after yesterday's
Yes.
game. So good for him. I'm glad he's feeling better. There's no timetable on his return.
I wouldn't want to
Everybody,
see him like that.
everybody, McCarthy said, this is one of those where he needs to be seen by more than one doctor. There's no timetable. Just go get better. And this is the second time that he's been knocked out of a game, and that goes I think that can go like with the whole concussion discussion thing. It's like when you get hurt like this or when you have significant injuries, you need to pay close attention. Like, take the time to get better. Because I think ultimately when it's all said and done, this is why guys have problems. Because they rush back. They don't take time to heal.
I think that he's in really bad shape now. When you a concussion you can come back from.
Yes.
No big deal. You can rest. Even if you rush your rest, you can still come back. He needs to cool his shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's
spinal
very...
injury,
Probably
he
needs to
needs
be out for the season.
He needs to just relax and get better because you come back in early, one more good blow, and you're paralyzed.
And considering this was the second significant hit that he took. So, he's got feeling, so that's really positive. He's upbeat.
He's on the way back. So
that's a good thing. Real quick, now I know what you said earlier. So
we're going back to turmoil
because he remembers,
and we have a minute. So hurry up.
Oh, it's quick. The SEC had 8 teams in the top 25. Only one of the teams didn't get upset on Saturday, and that was Alabama because, well, they're Alabama, and I'm pretty sure there's something fishy going on over there.
Something in the water?
Yeah, there's something weird
roll
going
tide
on.
Roll.
Yeah, there's something weird going on in Alabama. I don't know what it is, but there's something weird going on down there. But all the rest of the SEC teams ended up playing each other, and every lower-ranked team beat the upper-ranked teams.
Interesting.
That's a lot of upsets.
That is
especially
lot
for
of
that
upsets.
conference.
It's a lot of upsets.
It just it goes to show you how strong that conference is. And I hate to say that because I'm a Big 12 fan, and I've been really adamant that the Big 12's been doing that to themselves for a long time. So...
All right, we're going to take one more quick break, and then we're back with our awards, and our buddy Richard's going to be joining us. We'll be right back.
KOS Sports Talk Radio with the Brat Pak is brought to you by Las Vegas alternative rock group Mead Avenue.
When I look into your eyes, the universe is magnified. Even as the rust subsides, the fire burns deep down inside, and I feel alive.
Hey guys, we're back, and Alexa has went on a coffee break, and Dumbass came to join us here.
They're just jealous because they can't wear it.
Yes, that is.
Don't hate.
That is totally
I'm sure
the
that's
reason.
exactly it.
Let's kick off. We have a couple awards. Let's kick off with the fan.
Well, the number one fan this week,
Which we are getting the statue or the award.
Yes.
No,
for
it's going to be the foam finger.
Yeah.
with the middle finger.
Yes.
Yes, we're looking for that.
With the number one fan, I already got one.
Oh, you already got one?
You bought it
just
already?
hasn't got here yet.
Nice. Next show maybe.
Maybe.
Perfect. Anyway, go ahead.
It's 5 to 7 business days from yesterday.
Awesome.
Okay. Number one fan.
Okay, number one fan this week goes to a mother whose name was undisclosed by the school board, who actually went to the school board and attempted them to suspend a rival team's entire football team for bullying because they won 91-0 against her son's team. Yes, this is
This
thing
dumb
that happened.
bitch.
Because
Are you serious?
because nobody is allowed to be sad.
Yes,
Nobody's
apparently.
allowed to lose,
Why don't they just give him 1 point?
right?
Yeah.
Just give him 1 point.
Yeah,
You got 1 point
it
on the
was
board.
91-1. Yes. So,
My brain hurts from stupid.
yes. She tried to get the entire football team suspended. All 60-something players.
Okay, that's deserving of the number one fan award.
Yeah, that's classic right there.
You suck. You're just,
However, there is a bright side in this
there's
world.
There's
always
so-
a bright
There's
side.
always a ray of sunshine.
The feel
The
good.
feel good. This week's feel good goes to our friends to the north, the Toronto Maple Leafs organization.
Oh, Rob will like that.
Yes.
Hey Tank, how you doing, Tank?
The GM sent flowers and a condolence letter to the family of Paul Penner Sr., who had passed away. He was a longtime season ticket holder, like 25 years or so, and they found out about his passing. And just sent, we're sorry. The letter's online, and it's actually quite touching. And Penner had been honored the previous season, or like back in January of 2012, for season seat holder of the night, for a random drawing of the season ticket holders. So he was honored for that. But I think it's really cool. You remember why you have fans and why we love sports so much, and it doesn't matter what it is. But I think it's just really classy that you recognize somebody who's dedicated their life to watching your organization, and supporting your team. That you go ahead and you show your
honor him.
You honor him. You show your support.
That's a nice
appreciation.
gesture that they did something like that. It shows that they care.
Yeah, and part of the letter it said, hockey has brought Canadian fathers and sons together. Forever.
Sure.
So I think it was a really, really nice move by the Leafs organization.
That's awesome.
Before we move on to Richard, will you please explain to everybody why you're wearing this?
I am wearing this hat because what goes up must come down, and unfortunately,
she doesn't
it's
want
shit.
it on her.
And I don't particularly want shit coming on me. So.
Well, since what goes up must come down, today's Richard Award is being presented to the Oregon defensive coordinator, Nick Aliotti. And unfortunately, I didn't have an Oregon jersey for him, but we'll just have to go with an NCAA jersey. What?
Get it ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so Nick Aliotti commented. He says he thinks it's low class and it's bullshit to throw the ball when the game is completely over against our kids that are basically our scout team after their win against Washington State on Saturday. And he got butthurt about it because the Washington State quarterback actually set the Oregon's stadium record for most passing yards and passing attempts.
Wait, so...
Yes.
But Oregon won.
Yes, Oregon won. He
getting...
thinks it's low class that they kept passing even though they couldn't win, just to rack up some numbers for their quarterback.
Making my eyeballs itch. Are you kidding me?
Does your head hurt from stupid?
Are you kidding me? No wonder you wear this stupid
Right?
shit. You're telling me that just because we're behind in the game that I can't at least try to make it happen,
or at least
to
get
make
some
it better
practice against a better team, or
Because it's our scout team?
Yes, because you're playing against kids that are basically our scout team.
What a fucking douchebag.
To be fair,
no, there is no fair.
No, wait, hold on. He was fined $5,000 by the NCAA.
Whoop-de-doo.
Hey, that's cool. He was fined.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because that'll stop him from doing it.
Hey, okay, he was fined. So, but we want to give him an award for that.
We do because, I could understand.
Here's your award.
I could understand perhaps if you were losing to get upset about it, but you were winning, dude. Shut up.
They were winning by over 30.
You know what? Get some class and shut up.
Exactly. He called them low class.
Stay classy, Oregon.
What was his name again?
His name's Nick Aliotti.
Nick Aliotti.
Stay classy next time. Don't be a dick.
Well, that wraps up KOS for this show. What the hell day is today? This is Friday, right? Tuesday.
Today's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes.
Tune in next show. Friday we'll have.
And I'm the dumb one.
Tag, you're it.
No, she was already it. She'd have to tag you first before you could tag her back. What?
Tag.
You're it. You hit like a girl.
Oh, we're hitting. I thought we were just tagging.
Are we hitting? Because I'm going to fuck someone up real
That's
quick.
how you play tag.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in.
You hit
We'll
like
see
a
you guys
girl.
next week.